morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? So I am super excited. Oh, looks like we're at the end of the presentation. So I'm super excited to share some augmented reality things that we've been doing in the live event space, especially for Coachella. And as soon as we queue up the presentation, I'll jump right in. So we've been working on a lot of live event augmented reality things that I think is going to be fun to share with you guys. My name is Wagliardo. I'm an XR producer for Coachella, but I also run my own consulting firm specializing in immersive entertainment, and it's called And Pool. If anyone's curious, the QR code will point you to the website. Getting ahead of myself. So I do a lot of different things, but I like to consider myself a multimedia storyteller, and augmented reality and virtual reality has been a very fun part of creating that story. We've done a lot of things with mobile AR as well as volumetric and traditional virtual reality sort of production. But today I want to talk to you guys about live AR. And I know that within the industry there's a proliferation of terminology. And I'm not here to convince you guys of the merits or the value of a new term. I just want to share with you guys our process and how we've arrived at this different type of production. So what is live AR? So for us, there's been a distinction that we had to draw with some of our clients and partners between mobile AR and the XR pipeline that a lot of you guys may be familiar with within the Hollywood production process for shows like The Mandalorian, where people are doing things like in-camera special effects. This is very different. And so we want to share with you guys what, for us, is live AR. So for us, this is broadcast AR. So this is not viewable through a mobile device. This is something that we're distributing through our live stream. And that's a really fun thing for us because it gets us out into a much broader audience. And something I'll be sharing with you guys in a little bit more detail is the live event space. And so for live events, you only get one shot to get it right. And that's your one chance to be out there in the world. And so it has to work. And this is a very different process and a very different pipeline, making sure we build resilience. So I'll get into that in a little bit. This incorporates real-time rendered special effects. So again, the game engines and that whole pipeline is very critical to the things we do. And then, of course, compositing this onto video, and then putting that out to a televised or streamed audience. And that's very important for us to hit numbers. And one of the things I want to talk to you guys, or hopefully in part, is this idea that immersive technology so far has been very nascent. And the question is, how do we do it at scale? And the beginning of my process was very much in VR when it comes to immersion, and designing spaces that might have incorporated physical sets, but then also virtual reality. And the bottleneck was always throughput. Like, how can we get as many people to see this as possible? And so we very quickly pivoted to mobile AR. And similar things, even though people would show up to events and to activations, or if we're sharing it remotely through like an app store or mobile AR, there was always a bottleneck with those devices. And so for us, being able to leverage the broadcast and the stream was massive to hit the sort of KPIs that were very valuable for us as a live event. So for us, this is also a bridge to what we consider will be the next evolution in concert visuals. So back in the day, visuals were very analog. So if you go all the way back to the 1960s with concerts and live events, there would be things like lava projections, where you just get a lava lamp and a light, and you make it as psychedelic as possible. Within the 2000s, things like laser beams, LED screens, and very, very robust productions became the norm, like we're seeing here with the Daft Punk presentation. So for us, what we would like to imagine is a future where people are showing up. This is like that holy grail moment where people will show up with headsets on their face already to a live event, and that's already taken care of by all the lovely folks, like some of you out in the audience that are working on hardware. But we want to make sure that we're building a pipeline that can really bridge the gap between that live event production process and, for us, a pipeline. Into a new future where we can have truly revolutionary concert visuals. And so this is, for us, what's so exciting about immersive technology. There's a lot of things that are very, very cool about what's happening in Hollywood right now. and all the things that are possible with virtual production and virtual reality. But we want to bring that truly immersive experience to as broad an audience as possible. So what is the too long didn't read version? So let me just stop talking for a second. We'll just play this video. Oh, I apologize. Let me see if I can go back and see if I can get this video to work. I'm not sure if my clicker will play. If you guys could cue up the video. Perfect. So I actually prepared animated GIFs just in case this happened. We'll give this 1 second, and then we might just keep on going. So for us, this was a very fun surprise and delight moment where we were able to bring a whole different type of visual experience to our live stream that people and fans weren't expecting. And so we were getting some very fun feedback where people thought this was real. They thought that we had inflatable Macy's Day Parade style balloons. But in fact, this is all virtual production and augmented reality running through Unreal Engine. And this is something that has been done quite a bit in other forums that you might be familiar with, say the amazing things that Fox Sports has been doing with, say, the Super Bowl or with the hockey games. But for us to deploy this at a festival was quite a heavy lift. 2 weeks before the festival, nothing's there. It's a completely open polo field. And so for us to spring up a temporary stage and then to rig it and track it for augmented reality is something very fun. I'm looking forward to showing you guys right now. So for Flume, who's an amazing electronic artist, there were a lot of different elements within his show that we were able to add augmented visuals into the live stream. And again, this isn't something that fans would view through their mobile phone or through a headset. This is something that was distributed to our at-home audience, which has, I would say, over 100x the on-site attendance. So we're very fortunate to have over 150,000 people every weekend for Coachella, but to be able to reach a much bigger audience at home and to give them a different type of experience, something that for us is kind of akin to the special effects you might have in a music video, but we wanted to be able to bring that immersion and that sort of special moment to everyone watching at home. And we call it Couchella. So if you're a music fan but you weren't able to join, a lot of people will throw parties and have like kind of viewing parties at their house. And there's something magical about being in a large crowd at a festival, especially over several days, where you can really immerse yourself in that experience. And that becomes something that's very hard to translate over video, and also very hard to translate through a mobile AR experience. And so for us, this is exciting to be able to bring some of that, it's psychedelic, but it's also just an immersive moment where people can emotionally attach themselves to the music and the experience. We also wanted to bring in some of the Coachella IP. So in the past, we've had really amazing art installations. And we wanted to have a few surprise and delight moments where we brought back art installations from previous years and put them in unexpected places so that people might have, again, it's a bit of a surprise and delight moment, but just question whether or not it was real or not. And that kind of production value is a lot of fun for us. We really tried to go over the top as much as possible to push the boundaries of the technology. And so we were bringing in as many of the bells and whistles as possible using Unreal Engine. And that, if I pause on the Unreal Engine side of things for one moment, there's always that bottleneck with mobile devices and even wearables, where if the processing is being done on device, it limits the fidelity and the visuals. using the broadcast pipeline and using Unreal Engine, we were able to go to the highest level possible for real-time rendering. Of course, we still had bottlenecks. We had to hit 60 frames a second, and so there were limitations, but we were definitely able to dial up the fidelity beyond what I've been able to do in the past using mobile devices. And so this is all culminating in what we're calling our transmedia strategy across multiple different activations within the Coachella environment. And this all culminates for us in multiple activations, whether it is mobile AR through our partnership with Meta for the things we're doing for Instagram and for filters, as well as a lot of other activations. So this was very much part of an integrated approach that really is designed to give fans a new type of experience. And we position, or we consider internally Coachella a platform for discovery, and it's a discovery for artists as well as for fans. So if you're an artist and you want to be seen by a broader demographic or broader fan base, Coachella and festivals in general are a perfect place for that. And so it's also a chance for fans to experience new types of immersive content. And I think this is very much a fun place where people are engaged with new types of experiences. And again, this all culminates, this is a brand video. I'm just going to skip over it because I have a tendency to talk too much. So I'm going to keep an eye on the time. But let me give you guys a peek backstage. So like I was saying before, the live event space is, it's live, and you only get to do it once. So we definitely had to nail the production, and all the effects had to come together seamlessly, and this required a tremendous amount of rehearsal and setup. And some of you may be familiar with the live events production side of things, but this is very different from virtual production or mobile AR, where you spend months and then people can have a chance to touch it, feel it, and then if it breaks, you can always kind of push an update, if it's in the Apple App Store or otherwise. If it's web AR, there's always a chance to revise and push bug fixes. With live events, it's not quite that way. And so this was a very heavy-duty production on the back end to make sure we get it right once. And one of the things that I was super excited about was to work with Epic Games to create a pipeline for Coachella that was end-to-end, where we used Unreal Engine for pre-visualization, where we spent a year pre-visiting a lot of these things where we had a single Unreal Engine project with the main stage set up that we could pass back and forth between different teams and partners so that we could pre-visualize this setup. We were on site quite a bit, several days before, doing rehearsals with the actual stage. And this for us was a lot of fun because we were able to really immerse ourselves in the camera blocking, camera positioning. There was a primary team responsible for the live stream, and we were very much in tandem or parallel to that, where there would be a camera 3, camera 10, camera 12, and we would have a completely separate camera that was tracked for AR in parallel to that to de-risk the project. So if there was ever a problem, we would just cut to a different camera. I don't know, this video might be fun if you guys could press play on this one. One of the things I loved about this was the trees, because it looked so believable that oftentimes I would forget that this wasn't actually there. So for us, this level of fidelity and achieving this level of realism using photorealistic assets from Epic Games was just a lot of fun. So I'll get to a slide in a moment that talks about our different partners, but it was such an amazing opportunity to work across multiple pipelines where we were bringing in assets from our partners that were working on Flume's show design, where they would have visuals from Blender that we would take into Unreal Engine. We had to rebuild all the shaders, but then to integrate that into the broadcast pipeline, it really crossed so many different disciplines and so many different trades. So one of the things we did just over and over again was test, test, test. And again, this was a setup in our virtual Coachella. And again, this was all just for pre-visualization internally for us. I'm just about out of time, so I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. I think, unfortunately, I am out of time. I promised the guys I would come in a minute under. It looks like I'm going to be a few seconds over. But I just want to say thanks, everybody. I wanted to give a special thanks to our partners at Epic Games and YouTube, as well as our other production partners. But this is, I think, a good slide to end on. This is a really nice synopsis if anyone wants to read about the broader vision. Time Magazine did a great article. We also saw some really amazing numbers. So this is the type of reach that convinced us that live AR was the way to go over mobile AR, as well as some other use case things. And with the broader approach for our XR approach hitting 8 billion plus impressions, was all a big part of us realizing that XR is ready for the main stage, and it's ready for a much broader audience if we can work out the use case and the pipeline. All right, thanks everybody so much. I'm out of time, but I appreciate you coming out this morning, so thank you.